Hello and welcome to Cosmic Consciousness with Kassia. On this channel, we discuss all aspects of the Ascension process. I have a variety of services that I offer to assist in your awakening journey, and you can find those listed in the description box below. Today, I have the wonderful Pete Sapper with me from the Chosen 144, and we're going to be talking about these upcoming April energies. Just doing a little energy update for you guys. These energies are so powerful and so intense. April is going to be a huge month. And there is a video that I'm going to link in the description box for you guys of the video that Pete and I did for the Chosen 144 on the 4/4 portal and the April energies. And there will be more. We're going to continue putting out these videos as we continue to move into and through the month of April. Because it's, like I said, it's a powerful month. The energies are constantly, it feels a little bit like a roller coaster, like they're switching and changing, and we're just being asked to go with the flow and adapt to them. We're not even into April yet, and we can already feel these energies building. That's how big they are. I'm not going to pretend that I know exactly what's going to happen as we move through the month of April. I'm not one for making predictions. There's so much that can change. I mean, we live in a quantum universe, and so things can change on a dime. But I'm definitely feeling some very powerful shifts coming. As we move into April, we talk about this energy of 2022 as that final piece of the recoding of the matrix. And April is really kicking off that process, I think, and we're going to see ourselves switching into a brand new, really powerful energy. It's going to be a huge upsurge in our psychic abilities, our gifts coming online, more aspects of our multidimensional selves sort of melding and merging and coming home. And there's a whole lot of purging going on in preparation for these energies. So that's a little bit of what I want to talk with you guys about today. Pete's going to come on. He's going to give us some of his take on these energies, what it is that we can do to prepare as we're moving towards. And I feel the 4/4 energy very similar to 2020 when we had this huge mass awakening of starseeds and of people who had not previously really been aware. Right? They became activated, so to speak. And so there's another major activation and upgrade that we're all receiving. We can feel these energies pouring in, and they really are bringing up so much within us. And that's why it's so much of a roller coaster. It's kind of like the way that I'm seeing it now as I'm talking about it is like we're dipping down into more of the what we like to term, right, like the three-dimensional types of energies and consciousness, and then we're dipping way up into the 5D, and then we're dipping back down and back and forth, and it's just this crazy joyride of energy really right now, and it feels very similar to me. And you can weigh in on this in a second if you want, Pete. This energy of kind of like when we first started awakening. Right, where it felt very intense, and there were these deep purges and these dark nights of the souls that we were going through, and all the plethora of ascension symptoms. I think for a lot of us, our ascension symptoms kind of, I mean, we were still having them and experiencing them, but they slowed down a little bit. They weren't necessarily as intense. And now it's like they're popping up all over the place, and we don't know, is it going to last for an hour? Is it going to last for a day? Is it going to last for a week? Right. And we're really just kind of riding the wave of that. I don't know if that's something that you've necessarily experienced yourself or picked up on, Pete, this energy of the reawakening of the ascension symptoms, and really kind of like we're going into that beginning awakening in some ways, shapes, and forms all over again.
Yeah, anybody who's energetically sensitive can feel that they're heavy energies. They're really swelling, and there's a massive array of ascension symptoms. I'm only using stimulants to get through the day. I'm taking a lot of caffeine just to keep myself going because I'm so exhausted. I've got body aches and pains and stuff like that, like as if I ran a marathon or something. So all kinds of ascension symptoms happening now, but it's just going to get more intense, right? So we've got to become masters of transmuting this energy. And that's what this is giving us an opportunity to do. But by the way, I'm so happy to be here. This is my favorite channel. So happy to be here with Kassia. Thank you for having me on this channel. And I'm so excited to talk about this stuff. What we're going to do, what we're going to go into after Kassia gives us this energy update is specifically exactly what we're supposed to be doing, right? Because there's a lot of vagueness about what we're supposed to be doing. So we'll go down the bullet points of what exactly we're supposed to be doing and how exactly the 144,000 fit into this equation and why they're so damn important.
I love it. And that's what I love about Pete is he's so good at giving us the bullet points and giving us the, like, here are the tools. This is what you do. This is how you move through. And I really appreciate that. So very grateful to have him on here with us today as we are discussing these energies, because, you know, like Pete said, there's been a lot of ascension symptoms cropping up. I honestly, today I woke up, I was up for about 2 hours. And then I had to go back to bed for a few hours because I was just so absolutely exhausted. And with my current condition, I guess you would say, I can't really be taking a lot of caffeine or things like that. I have to be really cognizant of what it is that I'm putting into my body as I'm creating this little life right now, which is definitely making things feel extra intense, I think. But it is all of that stuff. And I'm seeing people being affected. I mean, everyone in my household has been just dragging these last few days. And even my roommate, who is usually like the Energizer Bunny, he's just bountiful energy all the time, came home and took a little nap today. You know, so it's like, really take care of yourself. If you are able to take that rest when you can. You know, like, really listen to your body, feed your body, fuel your body with the things that it needs. Your body will tell you what it needs if you're able to really listen. And take that rest when you need it, not only when it comes to sleep and things like that, but also when it comes to taking a step back from people, from places, from situations. As we move through this month of April, a lot of us are going to be feeling, I think, this need to pull back our energy. Because what's happening is a mass awakening again on a collective scale as we move through that 4/4 portal towards April 12th and that huge gateway of energy from the 8th to the 16th, which peaks on the 12th, that Jupiter and Neptune are creating, right? And all of these changes, we're going to see a collective awakening, and that's going to look really different, this next phase of awakening, depending on what level of consciousness somebody is operating from to begin with, right? So people who are operating on what we would, for lack of a better way to describe it, say like a lower level of consciousness, they're going to experience this differently than somebody who's operating on a different level of consciousness. And so we may see a lot of chaos erupting in the world around us. As empaths, we're going to be picking up on a lot of that stress, a lot of that anxiety, a lot of that shadow material that's coming up to be purged again. And so we want to be really aware of that. We want to be taking really good care of ourselves. And if we need to pull back our energy, don't feel bad about pulling back your energy. Don't feel bad about spending time by yourself. Don't worry if you feel that you're desiring more alone time. Don't think that that's a bad thing. Like, I think sometimes we get taught to question that. Like, does that mean that I'm isolating? Is that unhealthy? For empaths in times like this, it's a very healthy thing to be protecting our energy in that way. And so if you feel like you need to do that, absolutely do that. Be very selective of who you are sharing your time and your energy with and what you are putting your attention and your intention on. Because this is also a huge energetic gateway of manifestation. The lag time between our thoughts, our words, and our creations is getting shorter and shorter all the time. And so we want to be cognizant of that as well. And we want to be cognizant of our vibration and where it is that we're putting our focus, where it is that we're putting our attention, and what it is that we are creating by what it is that we're focusing on, right? We want to be looking at that. We want to be looking at the self-talk. We want to be looking at all of these things and really doing everything we can to keep our energy protected and shielded. It was interesting. I want to share this because I think it's relevant for everyone. A little bit earlier, I was pulling some cards for myself just to see what came out. And I got a card that was talking about energetic protection in the way of reclaiming and pulling back your energy. It's sort of like soul retrieval, but more the way that I was feeling it, that the energy was coming to me was like a nightly ritual. And so I would invite everyone, this is a nightly ritual that I'm going to start doing. I'm going to, and the simplest way that I'm visualizing doing this is as you're laying there in bed at night, imagine, like, set that intention that all of the energy that you've put out into the world, that you've allowed to leak out, that you've allowed other circumstances and events to sort of leach from you, anywhere where you've given your power away during the day, imagine that as like a stream of energy coming back towards you. And imagine as this energy is moving back towards you, it's moving through like a filter. So it's being cleansed and cleared. So you're not returning any of that, the residue from where your energy's been throughout the day. That's not coming back to you. That's being filtered clean. But then that energy, that light is returning and being restored to your being and your body. And just, it's similar to something that in shamanic circles, they call recapitulation. This is like a very short and abridged version of that, but I feel pretty confident that it will be effective, right? So something like that, where you're consciously bringing that energy back and you're imagining sealing off your energy field, any cords that have been sort of any attachments throughout the day kind of falling away, and then really just bring that light and imagine that light coming out of your heart space and really just surrounding you in this bubble of healing energy. And just really lay in that while you're falling asleep at night, and set that intention that your energy is being restored, because it's going to be so important for us to do this, for us to be, it feels like I'm kind of laughing now because it feels like a visual of filling your cup. Right. So it's like that energy of filling your cup up every night before you go to bed, so that when you wake up, you're able to start from a full cup. And really notice, if we are able to do this, if we really consciously bring our attention to this, we'll also be able to start to notice throughout our day when it is that our energy feels like it's dwindling. Right. And what may be the cause of that. Right. We'll be able to notice, all right, so what's going on now? I'm feeling my energy being drained. And just consciously even continue to call that back as we move throughout our days. And also meditation. I'm going to be making it a point as we move through the month of April to meditate every single day. Even if it's just a few minutes a day. Even if you fall asleep, which honestly I do a lot when I meditate. But it's okay, because we're still getting ourselves into that space. We're still being open. I like to open myself up to any messages from my higher self. I like to keep it really specific that I'm getting messages from my higher self, because there's so many different energies out there that want to contact us, but like our own higher self is meant to be our true guide. And so the more we can connect with, this is a huge energy as we move through this month of April, is learning how to, it's like Pete says when he talks about the goal of 2022 is to not be seeking anything without, to have everything within, is really like having that our own internal system, right? Our own internal system of discernment, our own internal system of healing, of validation. Like we get all of that from ourselves. All the answers we need are not out there. They're in here. And so that's what we're coming to realize as we move through this ascension. And I think that this is part of what April's really going to reveal to a lot of people, is that all of those energies that we look to, right? The Arcturians, the Pleiadians, Archangel Michael, all of these different things, right? Those are all just different versions of you. You are all of that. All right. And so we don't need to look outside. It is all right here already. It is already us. We have everything, all the information that we need, all the knowledge that we need in our true heart of hearts. Right. And that's the energy that not in here, but in here. This is where it all resides. So really working with that, really working on cultivating our heart energy. If you can receive energy healing, this is a beautiful time to receive some energy healing. If that's something that you are interested in, my information's in the description box below. I do offer some things like that, but just really working with that, consciously working with your energy and being aware that things are going to come up. There is a deeper purging that's happening right now to make way for all of this light. All right, a lot of what is attaching us to the third density perspective and consciousness is coming into our awareness right now. Anywhere where we are still, where there is a truth within us that hasn't been acknowledged, or that has perhaps been acknowledged but has not been resolved, has not been integrated, has not been healed or fully understood, that's going to be coming to the surface for us to look at. And so it's really important, and this has definitely been happening for me. And one thing that I've decided that I'm going to do moving on from here is like, yes, I am going to speak to it. I'm not going to hide it. I'm not going to pretend that I don't feel a certain way, or I don't have a certain belief that I'm in the process of shifting. but I'm going to do it once. All right. Maybe if it's coming up very strongly and I feel like I need to do it again, I may do it more than once, but I'm not going to do it constantly. I'm going to speak it. I'm going to honor it. And then I'm going to actively begin to shift it by speaking my new truth. All right. By speaking and believing and visualizing that new truth. So I'm honoring it. I'm not pretending it's not there, but I'm also not wallowing in it and hyper focusing on it to the point where I'm creating more of that, right? That self-fulfilling prophecy, because this is what we're learning not to do. And so there is an aspect of really focusing on what is it that you want. All right. Acknowledging what's true for you right now, but then shifting towards what is the truth that you are ready to embrace? What is the truth that you are ready to move into? All right. What is the belief system that you are ready to cultivate now? And we really want to be looking at that, because those belief systems, those fears, all of those energies are really coming to the surface. They're staring us right in the face. All right. And this can be scary sometimes, but it's really a beautiful thing, because we're creating that space. We're creating that space for the miracles, for the blessings, for all of the beautiful light that is knocking on our door right now, man. I mean, the amount of light coming in to this planet right now, to each and every single one of us, I mean, it's astronomical. We're seeing it in terms of that. We're seeing it in terms of the solar storms and the solar flares, which are off the charts right now, right? We're being bombarded with so much high frequency energy. And so it's really just a matter of, that's why the energy work and the conscious attention to your energy is so important, is because it's intense. It's a lot. Our bodies need to be able to integrate that. That's why it's also very important to spend as much time in nature as possible as we move through April. Connect with the earth as much as you can. She will bring healing to you. She will stabilize you. We bring healing to her as well. That's part of our job here, right? Is to be those satellites that conduct that energy and bring that and help to anchor that into the earth. All right. She is our partner in this. She is our mother. And so really working with her energy as well is going to be extremely helpful. It's really going to help to balance out these highs and lows. It's going to help us to ground into that Schumann resonance, that earth resonance. And just really, it's like, I see it right now, almost like soothing all of our meridians and all of the channels of our energy. So we really want to be working with her as much as we can also as we move through this next month here. We do really want to just be aware of that inner critic when it's piping up, right? Not to get carried away by those storylines, and to just be as gentle and loving with ourselves as we can in every single moment, and to extend that gentle lovingness to other people as well, because just knowing that everyone's going through what they're going through right now, right? And it's everything is a projection for them of what they need to see, learn, and understand, all right? And some people understand this, some people don't. So just having compassion in our hearts for each and every single person, trying to send loving thoughts to everyone, all right? Even the people, especially the people that trigger us, and especially the people that that really get on our nerves, right? Those are the people we want to send the love to the most. That doesn't mean we don't hold firm boundaries with them. That doesn't mean that we allow them to infiltrate our energy and our space in a way that's negative. But we can send that intention and send those loving thoughts to everyone and everything. And Gaia's coming back up again, like especially the planet. Anything you want to add, Pete?
The theme for April is pure positive focus. How much of a badass are you really, 144,000 light worker? How much of a badass are you, spiritual gangster that came here for this ascension, this unprecedented evolution in human consciousness? How freaking badass are you that you can maintain a pure positive focus, that you can be in a vortex of appreciation, that you never, ever give these people what they want? The distractions, the wars, the freaking messing with the weather, all of this fear-based stuff is meant to do two things. Number one, distract you from going in to seek the kingdom of God, right? It's to get you focused outside of yourself and make you feel like a pathetic victim. And it's meant to get you in a state of vibrating fear at the lowest level, at the lowest frequency, so that loosh can be harvested by these parasites, right? Are you going to sit there and be parasite food? Because that's what happens when you cave into this type of fear. All this fear that they're putting out there, this fear and lack and scarcity and shortage and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. The degree to which your consciousness is co-opted and your loosh, your fear is harvested by these parasites. How much of a badass are you, right? Are you going to refuse to vibrate at the level of fear? Because that's what a badass would do. A badass would refuse to vibrate at the level of fear. A badass would refuse to have their loosh harvested, would refuse to be a feeding ground for parasites who can't generate their own energy. So that's exactly what the situation is. Pure positive focus. If you're truly the spiritual gangster that you claim to be, that you came here to be, then you will maintain a pure positive focus as much as you can. And by the way, that's the definition of happiness right there. The majority of people will never be happy. And the reason is because they don't understand what happiness is. Happiness is the fact that your mental state is in a state of pure positive focus the majority of the time. Is it always going to be there? No, of course not. Right? Is it normal for us to feel? In order to let go of emotions, we have to feel them fully, right? So when we do have a negative emotion, right, we don't get neurotic. I have to make this clear. We don't get neurotic about not having negative emotions. We have negative emotions. We allow them in. We welcome them in. We see what it is that they have to tell us, and we let them move through us, right? But we don't hold on to fear and then vibrate fear and then feed these parasites with our loosh, right? We don't do that stuff anymore. Kassia and I haven't talked about this aspect before. We haven't gone to this level. This is kind of a curveball. I didn't even tell Kassia I was going to talk about this. But this is it, baby. April's a pivotal month. It's are you going to become the spiritual gangster that has a pure positive focus and refuses to vibrate at the frequency of fear, right? Or are you going to cave in, right? Are you going to cave? This is it, man. This is the testing ground.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's always been what it is, right? Whether we recognize that or not, is this programming that wants us to descend into this level of fear and wants to hold us into that vibration. And yeah, there are energies who feed off of that fear, right? It's their fuel, it's their sustenance. And so it is very much this energy of like, do we want to play into that, or do we want to set ourselves free? Because we have that choice. We don't have to fall into that narrative. And we've been seeing that narrative. It's been very clear over the past couple of years, right? From 2020, we saw that narrative take on some different hats, right? We're seeing it take on another hat now, as we're moving into, and we're looking at what's happening in the world with Russia and the Ukraine and all of that. They're always feeding you a narrative of fear. All right. So are you going to buy into that, or are you going to vibrate higher? And that is what absolutely makes a spiritual badass. It's knowing that we have that choice and constantly making the choice not to give into that. And it's really easy to give into that because that is, like I said, we've been programmed with that. We've been programmed to do that. It's absolutely everywhere, bombarding us all the time. And what's really interesting about all of this, actually, when we look at these energies, right, these controlling energies that feed off of our fear, that feed off of this energy, I've been watching and resonating with some interesting material lately. And one theory about this that I find very fascinating is the fact that it's really all a projection of our human consciousness, and that the matrix is actually something that we created with our third density consciousness and mind state, because in the third density, we need polarity. We need something to fight against. We need opposing forces. And so if we can heal the division within ourselves, we can actually, it's almost like we could possibly magically erase all of that from existence. Because the only reason that narrative can exist is because we need that narrative in order to feed this energy of division, in order to feed this energy of duality and polarity and good versus evil. Right? We see this theme of good versus evil playing out. It's in all of our movies, right? It's in entertainment. It's everywhere you look. It's like, and we do it with ourselves too. And so this is where we really can nip it in the bud, is when we stop doing that with ourselves. When we stop separating ourselves and saying, okay, this is good me, this is bad me, right? This is my shadow, right? This is my light. When we stop being ashamed of parts of ourselves and pushing them down and labeling different aspects of ourselves in the world as either good or bad. When we're able to neutralize that energy, we neutralize that force, and we can essentially then that no longer exists, right? All of those narratives no longer exist. And so we do that, just like Pete said, by not feeding into it, by not allowing ourselves to fall into that narrative. Nobody's feeding off of my fear today because I'm not allowing myself to descend to that level.
Yeah,
right? Nobody's feeding off of my need for there to be a bad guy. Yeah. Right? I don't need there to be a bad guy to make myself feel good. I don't need that drama, right? That play. Right? I can be in a place of complete neutrality. Like when I'll tell you, Pete, when I first became aware of these energies, right? And this was maybe 15 years ago, I think. It was quite a while ago that people brought to my attention a lot of these, what people would call conspiracy theories and these types of energies. And I began to understand that there was a world government, right? That there were these energies that fed off of our fear and our disappointment and wanted to keep us locked in this lower frequency. I got mad. I was very mad. I was very angry. I was very, the level of frustration in me that this would be allowed to exist was so palpable. And as I've moved through life, it's channeled itself in many ways. It became a frustration at the people who were unwilling to see what was going on. It became a frustration with myself because, well, am I playing into this? How do I break out of this? What is my role in this? It took so many different forms and there was so much resentment built up in me. And it's really fascinating now because at this point in my process, I can look at that energy with complete neutrality. And I can be like, okay, yeah, that exists. In one perspective, that exists. In this reality, that exists. But that's okay. That's all part of the story. And that story can be rewritten at any moment. Yeah. And so I don't need to get caught up in the energy of that anymore. I still like to speak awareness to it. And really, that's why I love what we do, Pete, because it's about giving people their power back. Saying, okay, this is from one perspective, truth. This is a thing that is happening. This is a thing that is going on. Now, what do you want to do about it? Are you going to feed into that? Are you going to allow yourself to be part of that? Or are you going to take your power and your energy back and do something different and become a master of your vibration, a master of your energy, and ultimately a master of your reality? Yep. And bring that energy into the picture so that we can completely leave that narrative behind as well. Because that's also just another story and another narrative in one version of reality. And that is the biggest story and narrative that we are really shifting out of. But it's all internal. It's an external reflection of an internal process.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, a spiritual gangster would refuse to vibrate at the level of fear. A spiritual gangster would refuse to be parasite food. A spiritual gangster would understand that pure positive focus, being in pure positive focus the majority of the time, is what sets the example for everyone else. 5 bullet points. Number 1, building and strengthening the 5D grid, right? Let's not forget our physical vessels as they make the transformation from carbon to crystalline base, because we feed our light body and we do things like intermittent fasting and all that other stuff that helps our body to, in that transition. Dude, we are transitioning down to the mitochondria, right, of our cells. Everything is changing within us, right? That's what these ascension symptoms are about. So building and strengthening the 5D grid and never forgetting that your sacred vessel is the bridge between heaven and earth. Number 2, supporting the ascension of the planet, right? Ascension of the planet. How do we support the ascension of the planet? We freaking keep ourselves in high frequency. Your number 1 job as a light worker is to stay in a pure positive focus the majority of the time and be that kind of example for everyone else. Number 3, healing the family lineage, right? We came here to break the chain, make sure that all that ancestral trauma is healed. Right? We change the patterns, the dysfunctional patterns within ourselves, and we shift the timeline. Number 4, establishing new relationship templates, right? New relationship templates. Now, the 3D relationship is about what? It's about insecurity. It's about jealousy. It's about envy. It's about, are they going to leave me? It's about abandonment. That's the 3D relationship template, right? So we are gonna anchor this new 5D relationship template where we're actually loving people instead of trying to control them, right? So establishing new family and relationship templates. And number 5, establishing new societal templates, right? We're gonna set the precedent for all these dysfunctional systems. Instead of fighting them or trying to change the old system, we're going to focus all our energy in building the new, right? This is the secret to change. I believe it was Socrates that said it. It's the secret to change is stop fighting the old and focus exclusively on the new. I'm going to do a video just on this. This is the crux of reality creation. You ignore the current reality as if it doesn't exist, right? You accept it exactly the way it is. No more resistance. And you put all of your pure positive focus on what it is that you want to create, right? That 5D, that the vision of the 5D planet, a world that works for everyone, right? A world where all this violence and the scarcity and fear and all this other, and this parasitism is just non-existent, right? And how do we get there? They want you in the lowest frequency, dude. They want you in the red, right? They want you in the red. And our job is to stay up at the top, right? Our job is to stay up in the violet and the purple, right? That's vibrating at the highest frequency. Because if we can do that, if we can stay up there, we don't have to experience the stuff down here. Eventually, we're going to get to a place where we don't have to experience the lower frequency stuff at all. We'll be in a bandwidth range where we can only observe, we can only be the vibration of, we can only experience what we are the vibration of. I know that Kassia will do a better job of explaining it. But that's the whole thing. Bullet point number 1, building the strengthening the 5D grid, supporting the ascension of the planet, healing the family lineage, establishing new relationship templates. This is going to be huge for me because I've never been able to have a healthy relationship in my life, right? So we're going to see whether I'm a spiritual badass or just talking the talk. Number 5, establishing new societal templates, right? The new systems, instead of the old systems that are not working and sitting there railing about them, we create new systems that work for everybody. And that's the job of the spiritual gangster, baby.
I love it. And I really love, so that totally brought more into perspective some of the information that I was channeling surrounding the 4/4 portal and this guidance to focus 100% on what it is that we want to create. And so it's what you just said there with the reality creation, right? We ignore the current reality. We accept the current reality. But we ignore it like it doesn't exist. We don't put our energy and our focus on that at all. We put our energy and our focus on what it is that we're wanting to create. Right. And so that is exactly what we're being asked to do as we move forward, is to really put all of our energy and focus toward that, towards what it is that we want, towards what it is that we are creating, what it is that we're moving toward. And I really liked how you pointed out as well. It's not about fine-tuning a system that already exists, a broken system, right? Trying to repair a broken system. It's about creating a brand new system that actually works. And I think that this is something that humanity has gotten tripped up on over and over again, right? It's like, let's revamp the old model. It wasn't working at all, but let's make a tweaks to this and see if this is going to create a change. No, it's not going to create a change. That's why we have this intensity. It's called destruction and creation. All right. Destruction means that what was there before is no longer, right? Something completely new has to be born. And so that's the process that we're in right now. We're experiencing this with ourselves. We're experiencing this on a cellular level, right? As Pete said, our bodies, our cells, right down to the mitochondria, are shifting and changing right now. Right, all of the old, and that's a lot of what April's about, and why this energy is so intense, is because a lot of that old is being removed completely. The slate is being wiped clean. It is gone, and the new is coming in. Right, we are becoming completely fresh and new, in many different ways, and all of that old stuff is being removed. All right. And we've been in this process of gently and gradually letting it go over years and years. Right. But now it's go time. Now it's time to really shift and transition from that old energy into the new energy. And anything that we're still clinging on or holding on to is going to be swept away. And that's why the theme of surrender has been coming through so powerfully. Right? It's like surrender, action and surrender in one, the masculine and the feminine charge, right? We're being asked to do both at the same time, to actively surrender and then to also keep moving forward. Right? And be that spiritual badass, be that spiritual warrior, be that bearer of the light, be that brand new version of ourselves, and really fearlessly step into that. Surrender everything that's not working, surrender everything that no longer is. Really, it's kind of like what we've been doing, I think, some of us, and I think we've all been guilty of this on one level or another, is we've been clinging on to ghosts. We've been clinging on to things that don't even exist anymore, right? Aspects of ourselves, versions of ourselves, relationships, things that aren't even really palpable anymore, but we have that attachment still. And it's time to really let that go, because there's a brand new reality wanting to unfold. There's a brand new earth that we are stepping into, right? A brand new us that we are creating, a brand new reality that we are cultivating. And we can't bring the old into the new. Yeah. All right. We really have to be willing to let that go. We have to be willing to put that down. We have to be willing to create on every single level of being something completely new. Like Pete said, totally new templates for relationships, totally new templates for government, or whatever you want to call it. I feel like we need to come up with a different word, because that word is so tainted, right? Totally new system of the way that we view the world, the way that we interact with the world and each other, like all of it, just brand new. And it can be scary from the old perspective, right? The ego doesn't want brand new. The ego wants something that it can slowly build on and sort of tweak, maybe, right? Because even if it's uncomfortable, even if it, to be quite frank, sucks, it's better than what we don't know, right? That's what the ego says. And that's why we're slowly putting that aspect of the ego to bed. We're allowing the ego to shift and change and to elevate with us, right? We're taking the positive aspects and we're letting go of all of that, those old fears and templates and survival mechanisms is really what they are, right? The survival mechanisms, the fail safes. Like, we don't need that anymore. It's like we're beginning to learn, like Spirit is wanting to get us to understand that it's time to jump out of the plane and we don't even need the parachute. Right? Yeah. But like, try telling that to somebody who's ever skydived before. No, you don't need a parachute. You're going to be fine.
Yeah. You're an infinite eternal being.
That's what it feels like.
That's it. Once you understand you're an infinite eternal being and there's nothing really outside of you that can hurt you, that Kassia and I are projections of your consciousness, that everything exists as a projection of your consciousness, that everything that happens is fully in your control, that there's an illusion of power outside of you that's only as strong as you make the illusion, right? And then, are you going to do the inner work? Are you going to be the spiritual gangster? Are you going to sit there and look around? Dude, do you know how cool you look when you're a fearless motherfucker, when you're the only one, when everyone else is panicking about this, that, and the other? And you're cool hand Luke, right? That's the kind of person that everyone wants to be around. That's the kind of leader that everyone wants to follow. And that's the kind of person that every spiritual gangster, 144K light worker, that's exactly their destiny, right? We have audacity and we have fearlessness. And what the hell do you have to fear, dude? There's nothing that exists outside of you, right? And this is what Kassia is getting at. Once you can wrap your head around the fact that you're in total control of the situation, and that you're experiencing something unprecedented that's never happened before, and that how appropriate is it that Kassia is the vessel, her physical vessel is a vessel for the birth of this new star child, these star children that are coming to assist us, and they're going to be completely pre-installed with everything, right? The high vibrational stuff. Their self-worth is going to be intact. They're not going to have all these deserving issues and stuff like that. These kids are going to come into Earth and they're going to freaking do it. There are reinforcements, man. So we have nothing but freaking badassery to look forward to, right? And we're, like I said, these star children are going to be reinforcements. Everyone's talking about it. You said there's going to be a generation of kids that Dolores hasn't talked about, and I'm right there with you. Right? This is the freaking new hope of the earth. And what we're trying to do as the 144, those of us who are here first, the first and second wave volunteers, we need to pave the way for these kids so that they can have an easier time than we did. Right? That's our freaking job, for God's sake. Not to worry so much about ourselves, but to see that my little brother doesn't have to suffer the way I did, it freaking makes everything better. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're healing all of this. We're creating and establishing this new template for reality. And these children that are coming in, they're just going to fall right into that, and they're going to come right into that, and they're going to run with it. Because like Pete said, they're already pre-programmed with all of that. They hold these higher dimensional templates. They hold this beautiful crystalline energy and this beautiful crystalline light body. And so, yeah, I mean, I want to give a hand to everybody out there watching these videos, because you guys, we came down these first 3 waves of star seeds that came down to this planet. We're doing the heavy lifting, right? So that all future generations can benefit from that. And it's really, really beautiful. And I know it hasn't been easy. None of us, we didn't come here for easy though, right? That's not what a spiritual badass is. A spiritual badass, a spiritual warrior does not expect easy and does not get frustrated or pouty when we don't receive easy, right? Because that's not what we came here for. This wasn't an easy job, all right? But it is the most worthy of all aspirations, of all creations, like what we're doing on this planet right now. There's no show like it. There's no experience like it. So what a gift to be here doing this, and what a gift to be here experiencing this roller coaster of a month that we're moving into right now. I'm here for it. You guys are here for it. Pete's here for it. So let us know in the description box below if there's anything else that you guys want to know about, anything you guys want to dig into or discuss. Please do, because we're going to be continuing to make videos on all of these subjects, bringing through the guidance that we're receiving, bringing through what's working for us, so that we can all navigate this process together as the beautiful spiritual badasses that we are. I appreciate you so much. If you enjoyed this video, definitely hit that like button, drop a comment down below. And yeah, if the content's helping you, share it, get it out there. I know that there are lots of spiritual badasses just like you who need this information, who need this really, like, just the support, right? The support and kind of like the pick me up of the energy. Because when we get our energies and we connect our energies together, it really, like, just recording this video tonight, I feel such a boost in my energy from where it was before we started tonight. So I want to thank you for that, Pete, and I want to thank all of our viewers for that, and for being part of this, and for just the magic that gets created when we bring our light together in this way.
Yeah, you know, I recently just came out, and I've been working with a coach on my keeping my energy vibrational, because my family template, the vibration is super low, super low, super low. And I'm still fighting this vibrational thing. But when I connect with Kassia, you see the vibration goes through the roof, right? Because it's not only a co-creation between Kassia and I and the universe, it's also a co-creation between us and all of the other spiritual badasses, the gangsters that watch this and share it with other people who desperately need to see it, right? Because we're talking on a different level, on a much deeper level than you're going to hear on other channels. We're really expecting the best to come out of you, right? The absolute badass to come out of you. You want to be the freaking, you want to be the coolest MFer you know, right? And this is the way to do it, to be absolutely fearless. And the more terrified everybody gets around you, the calmer, and more centered you are, right? I can't think of a better way to be more attractive to human beings, more charismatic, right? More magnetic to other human beings than that.
Yeah, that exactly. And that's what we want to remember as we move through this month of April, right? Because like we said, there's going to be chaos. There's going to be a lot erupting around all around us, right? So that's the true test, right? Can you maintain that calm center? Can you maintain that neutrality? Can you maintain that energy? Can you be, as some of you who watch this channel will remember, we talked about, we went through in 2020, the blue lunar storm year. Can you be the calm center in the eye of the storm? Right? That's what we're learning how to do. That is what we're here to do. That is what each and every single one of us will do as we move through this month. All right, we will be, and of course, we're going to drift from that center sometimes, but we bring ourselves back, and we bring ourselves back, and we bring ourselves back. All right, and we create that as our new set point of being. And we don't allow the outside to infiltrate that. We don't allow outer circumstances and events, outer energies to dictate our own energy, to dictate our own peace, right? We find that we cultivate that within. And as we do that, do you know how important it is? Can you feel how important that is? And the impact that that's going to make if each and every one of us is able to bring that calm, stabilizing energy to a planet in so much chaos. The impact of that is astronomical.
Please listen closely to what I'm going to say, guys, and let it permeate your consciousness. Circumstances don't matter. Only your state of being matters. Right? This is Ascension in a nutshell. Circumstances don't matter. We ignore the current reality. This is reality creation 101. Ignore the current reality and focus all your energy on the vision of the reality you want to create, and then take the actions and make the decisions, right? Every single choice point is taking you up in a lifeline or down in a lifeline, right? So this is it, baby. There's no someday on the horizon. You're either going to be a gangster now, or you're never going to be a gangster, baby. You're either going to step into the role now and be the coolest person you know, the most magnetic, most attractive, most charismatic. That's what you came here to do. You came here to shine, baby. And let me tell you, Kassia and I love to see you shine, baby.
Absolutely. We do. I love it. I mean, Pete just said it. That's it. There's nothing more. That's a perfect way to close this. That's what we're here to do. That's what we are doing, right? It's now or never. Now is the operative word there, right? We are stepping into this energy now. We are taking control of our reality and our energy now, right? We are creating our reality now. We are shining with our true brilliance right now. We're not waiting for tomorrow. We're not waiting until, right? We're finding it right in this very moment. We are taking ownership of that energy. We are taking ownership of our own energy, of our role in this process of creation, right? And we're owning that and we're running with that. And from here on out, it's just, I mean, if we are able to do that, if we are able to step into and embody everything that we've been talking about in this video today, we're not only going to survive, we are going to thrive, which is what we really came here to do, right? Survival is the old template. Thriving is the new template, right? So it's like a rocket launching. I think, Pete, you've used this analogy before as we're moving through 2022, and April is really the starting point. We've been warming up, right? The engine's been on, and now we're taking off as we move into April. And like Pete said, we both love to see you guys shine, right? We shine more brightly when we are connected with you, when we are serving you, when we are in this united field of energy together, connecting with your energy. So thank you for that. So very, very much. I love and honor every single one of you. I see every single one of you. And yeah, just thank you for being here with us. Thank you for being you. Thank you for suiting up and showing up for this planet, for yourselves, for humanity, for the future generations. All right. It is, you're amazing. You're incredible. Know that, own that, and live that every single day.
Perfect.
All right.
Perfect.
We'll talk to you guys soon.